Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
A Very Bookish Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to A Very Bookish Podcast. This is episode 42, and we have a very, very special guest. We have Ofa here. Say hi, Ofa.
Hey.
I've been really excited for this episode. Ofa has become a very, very close friend of mine. We are always messaging on Instagram, and we are literally the same person. It's kind of funny and very nice. I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
So before we jump into everything, I do want to give a quick update. Like I said last episode, I'm trying to do better at doing shop updates before we get into the episode. So if you guys have been following our Instagram, you guys know that our shop has reopened and we have dropped our newest stickers, which if you've been following throughout the rest of this week, you guys know that we have a couple of stickers based on a couple of books that we have done in previous episodes. So just a quick refresher for the Kiss Quotient, we have our You're My Mint chocolate chip little sticker. It's actually pretty big. It's like my whole palm. And if you've read the book, you kind of know where it is. And then we have our red I Buy You Underwear sticker from the Kiss Quotient as well.
My favorite of the entire drop. And when Grace made this sticker, it was funny because she drew like a little penis to figure out how to make the shorts. And so
No.
Yes, you drew one. She drew one.
No, I didn't. Look, when I was drawing, my hand kind of slipped and it made like a little head, and it was not supposed to. It was not my fault. When you guys see the video, I'll probably post it on TikTok so you guys could see it, but that's not what it was. And then their last sticker is from People We Meet on Vacation. This is our People We Meet on Vacation collage sticker. This one honestly is my favorite one because it literally has all the little Easter eggs and it's a very cute one. And we also have our Castile enamel pins back up. So if you did not get to pre-order, you will be able to get a hand on it now. You just won't get the other little bonus stuff that came with the pre-order. Our Cassian pins are on their way. If you guys remember, we had to do another rerun of those pins because the colors were too dark and too similar, so it just looked very, very dark compared to the Castile one, which we wanted a little bit of brighter colors. So that one will get put up on our shop in the coming weeks. If you did pre-order that one, you will get it sent when we get them with all the pre-order stuff still. So yeah, that's our Etsy shop update.
Time to actually talk now.
Time to talk.
Oh, but you can talk now. You don't have to just but we are very excited to have Ofa on today. Grace will, I always say this, whenever Grace has one of her guests, I like to say it's Grace's guest, because Grace likes to hound me, and she's like, so when are we having them on? So like, when is she going to be on? Like, have you emailed her yet? Have you responded to her email yet? And I'm like, dude, if you can respond to emails too.
Look. I'm excited. You know, I like having my friends on. It's a thing. Anyways, so Ofa, to start us off, do you want us to give everybody kind of like a little background on you and your social media?
Yeah. Just like in general.
Yeah, like your handles, like what you do on your social media platforms, and kind of who you are.
I promise.
Yeah.
I know how to speak. I promise. So my name's Ofa. My handles on TikTok and Instagram are O Loves Books. So Yeah, and I started actually my TikTok in like the end of January, I think, beginning of February-ish. And basically I just wanted, I didn't have any friends in real life that read the books that I read, which is usually how it is, I feel like. And then I just wanted to come on and kind of just share and talk about the books that I love. And next thing I knew, people actually were reading the books I recommended, and that was a little crazy to me. I was like, why?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, because that's literally my thing. Like, people picking up books that I like, I post about or something, and then they're just like, "Oh, I picked it up," and I was just like,
It's weird to think that we're like influencers. Like we like have an influence. Like when they think of influencers, we think of like Instagram models and stuff. It's like we are influencers. We're like telling people like, hey, go buy this book. And it's like so weird to think about that. Like people will like go like actually through our page and are like, hey, what do you recommend? Like honestly, and you're like, oh, you're really coming to me. You're coming to me of all people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
that
like,
is me. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
like,
crazy.
there's all these other pages, you know, and I'm just like, why do you want to look at my page?
Yeah.
Why me?
Yeah, like why me?
That's it.
Yeah.
Did you, because I saw you on my For You page quite a bit before, and then saw a whole bunch of your recs, and then that's how you and I met, because I hopped onto one of your lives and you were like listening to music and just kind of talking and then just asking people what they were about to read, and I was just about to start The Sweetest Oblivion, which was a book that you talked about a lot on your page. And then we were kind of talking and we just vibed like automatically.
Mm-hmm.
It was like pretty instant. First of all, because like your playlist was like taking me back and really setting the mood. I was just like, yes, this playlist. And the rest is history, basically. Yeah.
That's what, June? July? June?
Yeah.
I think it
That was
was
like the beginning of summer.
It was like end of May, early June. Or was it end of June? Because like immediately within like a week, Grace was texting me like, hey, we have to have her on. Like Grace will find like a new person on TikTok and she's like, we have to have them on. Like barely knows them. I do the same. Like I will see a random person on the TikTok feed and I'll be like, I'll send it to Grace. I'm like, we have to have them on. But it's so funny because Grace is like, we have to have her on. Like, this is my one requirement. It was kind of like that thing, like, we have to do this or else.
Or else. Oh my gosh.
I was putting my foot down. That this was I was placing all my coins on you.
No, thank you. No, that makes me you make me blush.
Yeah.
You know what? And it was like very well placed because like The Sweetest Oblivion, the series, the Maid series, literally changed my whole mindset. I have never been the same since reading that book.
Mm-hmm.
Like after that, my taste completely changed. It was, of course, my brother.
Is that Jacob?
Literally.
She called out her brother. Oh, it's your mom. Okay, because I was like, of course it's gonna be her brother calling her in the middle of a podcast episode. Happens every time. But
literally.
Yeah, no, even like I noticed like Grace really beforehand she was reading a lot of still YA when I was reading a lot of like more like smutty romance. And then like she read the Maid series. She read like Get a Life Chloe Brown, but then she read the Maid series and she was like, "Oh no, I am never going back. Mafia romance all the way." I think like if we haven't read it for the podcast, then she's only read Mafia romance.
I believe it.
Literally.
Because of this series.
Yeah.
It's and all of them have basically been your recs, except for Well, that's not mafia, but the Miles High Club is not mafia, but it's very alcohol brothers, and that kind of drew me in. Yeah. But I would not stop talking about the Mattis obsession for like weeks after. Like that's the only thing I thought about.
Yeah.
When I tell you, she was obsessed. She was how did you even find that comment, Grace, to read the Mattis obsession? Like, you said you found it.
No. Well, on Ofa's page, she had like a whole bunch of like, you know, those videos with like the text posts above, and like when it was about Nico, and then I was just like, oh, bet I'm gonna read this, and then when let me tell you how I knew that Christian was gonna be the one for me, because as soon as he walked onto the page, I was like,
so you're calling dibs? You're calling dibs?
I am. Like Pauline, at the Books I've Loved, she recently read the main series, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Christian," and I was just like, "Hold on, miss.
Hold up.
Pump your brakes. That's my man right there."
Yeah.
Not to gatekeep, but I saw him first.
Not to gatekeep, but also to gatekeep.
You know,
dude, they're like a guilty thing that I do is I love, like, there's some books that I read and I don't want to talk about because I don't want to gatekeep. Like, I know it's so bad. I know it's so bad as an influencer, and like be like, I like review books for like a living is what I do, and I'm like I don't want to review this book because I don't want people to read it, and like for then, because I feel like there are like people who will like everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but you'll see people who like will hate on a book that's like not even like, it's not even like a big time book, but it's like a small book, and you see massive hate, especially when you post about it, and you're like, I don't want this, but then I'm also like, I don't want people to like it because I want to be the only one who likes it.
Seriously, I get that 100%.
Like, it's something, because like as soon as like somebody says like a bad comment, it's just like, man, I'm gonna like, what?
Oh my gosh,
that's me. Like,
this is a personal attack. That's what that is.
Literally.
Yes, I get offended. I get highly offended. But I always have to like, when I look at the negative comment, depending on what I see, sometimes I'll delete it like immediately. But then most of the time I kind of like come back to it later, because if I were to respond immediately,
somebody about to catch some hands is what's going to be happening.
I'm not a violent person. Let's just put that out there.
Sure.
It's a thing, you know, like, you know, that instant reaction is kind of like, you know, it's like, it's what you want to do, but then you realize like, you know what? I'll come back to this. I'll choose to ignore it for now and keep my head above water for now. But if you try it again, we're gonna have some issues.
Sorry. For those of you,
Maggie, I can't with you, Maggie.
For those of you watching the YouTube, I'm so sorry. I keep getting hair in my mouth because my hair is wet, and so I'm trying to like go through my hair to like dry it to be like straight and stuff. But every once in a while, it'll get stuck in my lips, and so I have to like go
and you're
like
like
this.
Have you guys ever seen, what's that movie with the Wayans brothers when he's like wearing the white chick, when he's wearing the wig, and he's like,
it's white chicks. It's
white chicks.
And he's like, yep, it's the. That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that movie was iconic. That movie. You cannot think about that song without thinking about Terry and singing it in the car. I won't even like do the head thing, like not even like to other songs now where I'm like,
exactly.
I did that at the movie premiere of Shang-Chi, and my dad was next to me. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm just thinking about white chicks to the music, and I'm like, the culture phenomenon that is white chicks, and I think I
It's a
saw.
vibe.
I don't know if
love
you've watched Game of Thrones TV show,
I haven't.
but so there's a house in their house Targaryen, and so they had like all of these actors who have white hair, and
Oh,
in
yeah.
the far
And all
background,
you,
you see
they did
from
not.
white chicks they did, and it's like House Targaryen, and so you have like the official like characters, and then you have from all of these like very popular like TV shows and movies of like people with white blonde hair, and I saw,
Oh,
and it,
no.
and when I saw them there, at first you don't notice it, you're like, oh okay, and then you're like, wait a hot second. When I
You
tell you
had
I
to zoom in
laughed.
really quickly.
Oh my
Somebody
gosh.
I
commented,
haven't seen that in a while.
somebody was like, are those the guys from White Chicks? And people were like, no. And everyone was like, no, no, no. And I was like, oh my god, they really are convincing this dude.
Oh my
Poor
gosh.
guy. He's
Yeah.
just like, man, I missed an episode somewhere.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
I'm kind of like on the cusp of fantasy. You don't really read fantasy, right, Ofa?
I read like my first one. I guess it's like an intro. Like it's not too heavy fantasy, but it was the Four Horsemen series by
okay,
right,
Laura
yeah.
Thalassa.
I want to read that series. How was it? Oh,
Ooh,
give me it. I want to hear. Give me it.
I loved it so much. It's
Okay.
so good. Like they're all like very alpha men.
Oh.
And they're like, because listen, when I say different breed, they really are a different breed, literally. And so I don't know if you know the book in order, but like obviously it's the Four Horsemen that are sent, for the apocalypse, and then
Pestilence
they all show
is the
up.
first book, right?
Pestilence is the first book,
Pestilence.
and then war, and then famine, and
then
death is supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, I saw it was like supposed to be coming out
Yeah.
soon. I saw a
Yeah.
lot of people reacting to the cover of it, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Like, I'm like, "Is it on Kindle Unlimited?"
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
let me just.
It's
pop
on
my
Kindle.
Amazon account real quick.
and they're quick reads too. Like
Mhm.
but they're thick. Like they're pretty thick. Pestilence is probably it's not too many pages, but like war and famine, they are thicker. But there's so much, like I don't even know how to explain it. Like they're so different, but they're all sent to do the same thing, right? But
Yeah.
Gotcha.
they're the way that
And
they
they
are
all-
with the women.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want to know. I want to know how they are with the women.
The way they are
That's
with the
my favorite.
women.
Maybe I'll read that in October for like an October kind of vibey theme.
Ooh, you should, yeah, because then I think death is supposed to be out by then. Like,
Oh,
and
so
then
then I
you
can just
can
read
finish
it.
the whole thing.
I can do
I-
it during fall break. That's what I'm gonna do.
Do it, girl. I support it 100%. It's like the way that they are with the men, though. The way that they are with the women is like War, like really, like he knows how much he loves hit the heroin ASAP. Like
Is it the
But
man
the-
falls in love first trope?
it's kind of like that, like because I don't want to spoil anything, but
Does he
trying to-
recognize it first?
yes, he sees it immediately, and there's like a way that he knows, and
okay.
but she fights it, and she fights it throughout like a lot of the book, and you're gonna
love this trope.
you'll be like, ugh, girl, just like give
just
in
move
already.
out of the way, or like
Yeah,
get out the way, bitch.
know.
I'll go into your.
Bitch, if you don't want him, I'll take him. Shoot, because these are some like they're tall, muscular men, and they all have like tattoos.
Oh,
But the tattoos match like what
What they are?
sent, and what they're sent to Earth to do, and like,
Oh, I love this.
ooh,
Let
and
me
then
open up my Kindle right now.
do it. Pestilence is like he is legit enemies to lovers. Pestilence is legit enemies to lovers. Like they hate each other. They try to kill each other, unalive each other. Wait, I don't have to TikTok censor myself, right?
you don't. Well, for YouTube a little bit, but it's not made for kids, so technically you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
But so
as long as we don't get too graphic.
Yeah. We won't get.
Yeah.
But yeah, that trope. The trope in Pestilence, I think you'll really love Grace, because it's like
it's
they
that,
really,
it's that banter.
And the banter is so funny, like with all of them. And Famine, his story is probably the saddest, and probably like, because they're all pretty dark, but Famine is probably the saddest and the darkest. Until death, of course. I feel like death will trump it.
Are they, dang it, I don't want to ask questions because I know it's going to spoil it for me. But they're immortal?
They're immortal, yeah.
So but have they always been immortal? That's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was one of those things where it's like, oh, something happened to them.
Oh.
And then they were chosen to be that horseman.
Oh, yeah.
To take up that seat. Is it something like that?
No, they
that they were human immortal first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They've been immortal the whole time.
Okay. That would have been a cool story. I'm gonna use that then. I'm gonna see what happens with that. Let's see.
Guess who just downloaded it? I got it
shoot.
right on my Kindle. Girl, I will trust. I will literally, anybody who comes on the podcast, I will trust. Like with book talkers, I don't know what, but I always trust any book talker that I talk to. I'm like, I trust you. I'm giving you my faith in your reads. So catch me reading this. I mean, I have like 4 other books I have to read at the moment, so it's gonna be like in October. I'll just renew it on Kindle Unlimited. But this is like a lifesaver. Like, especially for me when I am in business school. So like I'm sitting around a bunch of guys right before class and I'm reading on my Kindle. I had a guy come up behind me and go, "What are you reading?" And I went, I went, "Sir." He's like a friend of mine, but I was like, "Sir, your innocent ears could not handle what I'm reading right now." I was like, I was reading Electric Idol, the second book in the Dark Olympus series. And I was in like a spicy scene, and he came up right behind me, and I was like, "Sir,
it's the worst.
Sir, don't interrupt me. I know we're about to sit down for accounting class, but do not interrupt me." But yeah, so that kind of goes into, what are you currently reading at the moment?
So I am reading a arc of Kiss and Don't Tell by Megan Quinn.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is that the hockey one?
Yeah, it's a hockey one.
Yes.
So I just got it today. So I just started, like I'm like 1 chapter in, but I'm really excited about it because I like Megan Quinn's sports romances. I think she writes it really well.
When I was reading sports romances around, like, I think it was March was when I started reading like the sports romance, like Maya Hughes and another author that I'm not really going to mention because problematic. But we all know who I'm talking about. I was going to read some Megan Quinn, and then I got into like reverse harem dark sweaty romances, and I was like, I haven't read like a good sports romance in a while. So I'm thinking about reading Wall of Winnipeg and Me.
Oh my.
Okay, because like I have it. I bought it literally. So Tish, Pauline, and I, we went to lunch like a while ago, and we all met up in LA because we all live like within an hour of each other. And so Tish like talks about that book so much, and she was just like, telling me about it. And then you started recommending that author to me too. Like you mentioned that she was pretty good, and then I saw it on your page too, and I'm just like, everybody I know talks about this book. So then I bought it literally on my drive back from meeting with them. It was like the only copy at my Barnes & Noble, so I picked it up and I have it there. And now everyone's reading it again who hasn't read it. And
I bought it because of you. I bought it because of Grace, because I thought Grace would read it. And we both haven't read it. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while.
We'll read it semi together because our pacing is totally off. We'll read it together, and
it's a thick book. It's a thick book.
It's like thick.
I'm probably gonna have to read it over the wintertime.
It's really good.
It's a thick book.
I think I bought it in like January. It was before I joined TikTok because I saw so many people talking about it. when I was just a viewer, you know? And but like I've just read it over the summer and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really good. Like I was a little worried, you know, that it wasn't gonna be good.
That's like the big thing. It's just like, you know, seeing all these books on like TikTok and stuff like that, and then you're just like, everybody loves this book so much hype around it. Do I pick this book up? Because I'm always scared. Because like that's my thing with Spanish Love Deception. It's like everybody was talking about that book for like a cool month, and I wanted to read it so much, especially because, you know, Spanish and I'm Hispanic, and of course I have to read it, you know, I have to. It's like a thing. So I was looking at it, I was just like, you know what, I gotta read it. But then too many people started talking about it, and I was just like, so when that happens, I usually back off. I'm like, I'm not touching this book for months. I'm not going near it. I'm not even buying it. I'm leaving it there. Like, I've done that with so many books that I really wanted to read because everybody read it. But at the same time, it's just like, I know if I go into it and I hate it, it's going to be like, damn, you know? And you can't say anything because you don't want to mess up other people's view. Yeah. But at the same time,
that's why I love going into books fully blind. Like I would see a lot of like Spanish Love Deception. I have it too because I bought it because Grace bought it. So that happens a lot where Grace will buy a book and I'll buy it and I'm like, oh great, we have podcast content. But that's I think why I bought it. And then we don't even read them. But
and then it's sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, that's actually a couple books. But with like I noticed like there's this like trend on TikTok where like everybody will read the same books and stuff, but then I know there's like this tendency to get like overhyped for a book where you just see the same content for the same book over and over again. Like for The Love Hypothesis, I saw it, but I had to skip over them because I'm like, I have not read this book yet, and I'm like, I have to go into it blind or else I won't enjoy it. Like I think that's what spoiled One Last Stop for me was I was like, oh, I kind of get what happens.
Yeah. And it's different. It's a different like knowing what happens between like knowing the trope. Like you know it's enemies to lovers. The lovers part is obviously there. You know it's a workplace romance, so you know that there's going to be, you know, certain situations will come up. It's different from like that to knowing things specifically in the book. Like I was talking to Ofa like a little while ago about like not knowing a single thing about books, that I'm starting to do that now with the Brutal Birthright series. I didn't know a single thing besides like Ofa telling me there's a kidnapping in one, and we got Irish mafia, we got the Bratva, and we have the Polish mafia, and I was just like sold. I started reading it, did not know anything going into them, and the whole reading experience was so good because I didn't know who the next books were really about, what couples got together, where the plot was going, and that honestly made it so much better. Even though I had seen the book on TikTok, I didn't know a single thing about it, and that like makes the experience so much better because like it honestly is like you're reading it for the first time without anything in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's those moments, it's those things that like really make the reading experience better. Because like if you know, like what's a book that has been messed up for me? What was that?
A book that has been messed up for you, aka spoiled.
Oh, well, that doesn't count. Okay. She spoiled a scene in a book for me that we were reading at the same time, and I was like, okay.
She's such a slow reader. She has to start like 2 or 3 days in advance from me now because she reads so. It's not nothing against you, but I just read really fast because like my brain, I just have to read really fast. And I just said something offhand comment because I genuinely forgot that she was still reading. I genuinely thought she was done because I was done. And she's like, "In what book, Maggie?" And I was like, "For a while, I convinced you."
Okay. We did. She kind of played it off, which was fine. But then at the end, I was just like, I'm so mad at you. Don't even talk with me for like a few hours. Like, give me some time.
What book
Give me
was
some
it?
time to be cool. It was Kingdom of Flesh and Fire.
Oh, the From Blood and
JLA.
Ash. Okay.
Yeah. You still haven't read that.
It's on my list. I think I'm gonna read it in October.
Well, the next book, the like prequel series, comes out October, I think.
It's gonna be a big series. Well, it's gonna be a big world. Because there's like the main series, which is the Blood and Ash series. And then we have the Shadow and the Ember series, which is like 2 prequel books. But you have to read those
Flesh and Fire
after.
series. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's like 2 books before, and then there's going to be a spin-off after the fact. It's a whole thing. But it kind of needs that because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that book. But yeah.
Is it going to be overwhelming?
No, because you kind of speed through it pretty quickly.
The third book is just a little hard to get through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the third book's a little hard.
It's just
to get
repetitive.
Through, but the first 2 are pretty good. I made that book my whole personality for a while. Those 2 books, and then after the third one, I was kind of like, okay, let's settle down now. Let's relax. It's fine. So you're known for mostly spicy books. What was your first your intro into spicy books? Let's see that. If you remember.
Oh my gosh, I think I'm like a lot of other people where my first one was 50 Shades of Grey. I read it my freshman year of college, and I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, I read that in maybe my 11th or 10th grade year in high school. Yeah, it was. I read it then. Me and my best friend, I read it, and then I would tell her like about it. And my boyfriend from high school actually found out that I was reading it, and he was just like, well, why didn't you tell me? And I was just like, well, I didn't think, I didn't want to tell you. And he's just like, you should have told me, because maybe I wanted to see what was up in the book. And I'm just like, literally that. He wanted to try out some stuff, and I was just like, sir.
It's so funny that you mentioned that 50 Shades of Grey, because I feel like everybody starts with spicy books. It's all rooted in fan fiction, like literally rooted, because 50 Shades of Grey is a Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah.
And like the fact that like fan fiction and like Wattpad and AO3 are literally like the birthplace for people to start reading smut is so funny. And like After, which I've never read before. I've actually never read 50 Shades of Grey either. Which
what was your first?
It's a classic.
What was your first spicy book?
It was a Wattpad book. It was like a long time ago. I don't even remember.
Oh, it was on Wattpad.
Yeah. Well, I would say like my first like official like published spicy book that I read would probably be part of the Checkmate series by Kennedy Fox.
Yeah.
And then J.R. Ward, Black Dagger Brotherhood series.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I had to stop reading because it just was so many books and just
it's a lot.
So
it's still coming out. There's still books coming out.
It hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped. It won't stop.
The ninth book.
I don't understand how there's so many J.R. Ward Black Dagger Brotherhood, because like, wasn't it like only like 5 of them in the first book, and yet there's like 19 or something.
Some of them revisit. Some of them revisit the like the original characters, but there's also characters added in. So like this like last book I read was like a character who was introduced in the second book, and he grew up throughout the whole series. So it's really interesting.
Dang,
because like
this book, it's too
like,
much.
well,
That's
he didn't
the
grow
newest
up.
one.
He was like 18 in like the second book, and then he reached like the age of when you like turn into a vampire.
Okay. Because isn't like the newest one about Savage, and wasn't he one of like the first ones?
Girl, do you think I know?
Anyways,
I might have
Hey,
worked at
are
a
you-
bookstore, but no.
Are you guys like series? Like, do you guys love series or do you guys love standalones more? Or do you guys like a series of standalones?
I think everybody is really in the series of standalones at the moment.
So we're in the right place.
Yes, we are.
We are accepted in this community. Okay, I like
Got
the
it.
vibe. Creative. No, I love
because it's something about those type of interconnected stories that is just like, because like in other series you fall in love with the side characters and then don't get anything about that. These are the sweet spot.
It's because you don't get bored. You don't get bored with the same two characters. You see a new like couple every single book. So you're not like, oh, like I really like if you don't like a couple and if their whole book series is about them, you're like, am I really gonna read the rest of the series? Versus like you have like I'm trying to think like Penelope Douglas or like Anna Huang who has her Twisted series. Like every book is a different character, and I think that's really what authors are really trying to make right now is those like series of standalones, because it does keep readers engaged and it keeps readers wanting to know like, oh, there's a character introduced, we want to see his story, we want to see him fall in love, or we want to see her fall, or these two couples bantering in the background. When are they gonna have sex? Like it's just
Exactly.
It's like now it's to the point where just like as soon as like someone's mentioned and they have like at least like a full page of like content, you know that person's getting a book. That person, they were here a little too long, they made too much of an impression. When is their book coming out? Because that was literally me in like Twisted Games with a character mentioned in Anna Huang's series. In Twisted Games, a character is mentioned, and I immediately like that. As soon as he like said hello, I immediately messaged Anna, and I'm like, I bet you this person and this person get together.
It's funny you
and
said
she's
that.
Like, can't tell you.
You said that, and I posted it on my Instagram stories, and I was like, these two people have to get together. They have to. And Grace was like, be careful, don't post spoilers. And I was like, dude, I was like, dude, the book is out today, but two, this is not a spoiler. This is a theory. But I was like, dude, I'm calling Grace out a little bit. But I was talking with Anna, and I was like, I literally texted her. I was like, if these two aren't the last characters in the book series, I will DNF the whole series. I straight up told her, I will not read the last book. And I threatened her. And I was like, I'll be giving you weekly emails to make sure these two characters get their books together.
Because literally the last scene at the party.
Did you read Twisted?
She just mentions how that person is watching the other person. I'm like, come on, sweetie. Come on.
I was like, oh, we been new this was gonna happen.
But I love when authors do that. I love when authors like give you those like subtle hints where the readers catch on and they're like, you're like, fuck, I have to wait till the last book in the series to read about these two. But then you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens to them in the next book and be like, oh, get to see a little bit of them. Because we all know who the third book is about. We all know.
We've been new since the first book, right?
We've been new since they were together in the first scene.
That first interaction was enough. It was just like, oh, banter central right here. Yeah. There's too much. They were too invested in each other. We know that that's twisted hate. And then that last one was just like opening up the doors. And I love how he was introduced, because we heard about him in like the first book. But then in the second one, he got like a whole scene where he just popped up, and I was like, okay. I like you.
I see you.
And it's crazy because as soon as the second book is Bodyguard Princess Romance. And then in the first book, how it's mentioned about a certain stalker or possible stalker. And I was like, And I recently watched a movie that kind of had similar vibes to that, what I think it'll be. So the movie that I watched was The Protector on Passion Flix. And it's a bodyguard romance with this like model / influencer. So it's kind of their vibe. I'm like, there's like a stalker out to like look for her or something like that. And I messaged on that. I was just like, this is their vibe, I bet you. And she's just like, I might have to watch it to see. And I'm like, I'm telling you now. Don't even tell me. Don't even correct me. I know. And Anna's like literally the sweetest person ever. She's like I love her.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
She is so it was so funny because like having her on the podcast and stuff, when we talk to her and stuff, you're like, how did this woman create all of these scenes? Like when you think about it, when you talk to authors and stuff and you're like talking in front of them and you're like, I read your scenes that you thought of in your head. I know how dirty your mind is. Like, exactly. I know. And I think it was just, she's such a sweet person. And like, she is so funny because I literally was thinking about like the book and stuff. And like, this question automatically came into, do you have the book series in the OG covers or do you have it in the discrete covers for Twisted Games and Twisted Love? Ofa. Yes.
I have the OG covers.
Okay, because I was gonna ask you, do you like the OG covers or do you like the discrete covers better?
I'm more of an OG cover kind of person.
Me too. Yeah, that was kind of gonna go into my broader thing. Do you like more of like the discrete covers? Like I'm just gonna pull this one off, like Lilac, where it's like you can't really tell what it is, but then you have like another book where I'm trying to find like one that's like there's like a half naked man on the front. I can't find it at the moment.
Pull out a J.R. Ward book and you'll be set.
And you'll have it.
You'll have it right there.
The ninth book in the J.R. Ward.
Yeah. Oh.
See, so my question is generally I know this one's interesting because it's about the girl, but when you like are reading a book and stuff, do you prefer to get like the discrete cover or do you like the spicy half naked men covers?
I like the spicy, like for real. I don't know why, but I just like looking at them.
I mean, like,
I know why.
They have
they're
something
pretty.
about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like the discrete covers. I'm always like, oh, cool, but I never leave my house. So like, who am I trying to hide my book reading from?
Yeah. No. I definitely like I have no shame when it comes to what books I'm reading. Mm-hmm. I really have no shame. So I literally was reading, I don't even remember what book it was. It had a half naked cover. It had a half naked man on the front of the cover, and I was reading it right in the middle of the business school, and I was like, try and come for me. I dare you. Like I even told we were introducing ourselves, like how every single awkward introduction when you're in a new class and stuff, and they're like, oh, what do you do, or like who's your favorite artist and stuff, or like what's your favorite like music to listen to, and I'm like, I don't listen to music, and they're like, what? And I was like, I don't have time to listen to music, I like read books. And they were like, how is that possible? I'm like, do you know how many books I've read this year? And they're like, how many? What, like 20? And I'm like, wow. I'm like, multiply that by 6,
right?
And then you'll get there. But I just love a good like steamy cover that are just.
Me too.
I think. Oh,
do you guys have like a favorite cover model that you guys like?
A half naked man on the cover. Like
love.
Yes.
I have 2. I don't know their names. Well, actually, where is he?
I'm trying to think.
He's all the way over there. But the model for Broken
Heavy Crown
of the Brutal.
Just kidding. I thought that's what you were gonna say. Who is it?
he is something too. Okay. Um, the guy who was Raylan. So what's that? Broken Vow. Something about his like look was just kind of like those eyes kind of like pulled me in, and they just had the vibe. Also, the guy who was for Twisted Love for Ana Juan, I liked him too. But it's like it's a thing because I like certain pictures of them, but then if I get like a whole bunch of them, I'm kind of like, you're not it anymore. It's like a certain angle, certain lighting, certain filter that made you the vibe that I wanted, and now you're not the vibe. So you know. It's more of like the feeling. If I get the feeling from looking at you and you're just exactly what the book is, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so and so.
Yeah.
But as soon as I see the rest of your content, I'm like, no, you're not him.
We're good.
That's why I'm careful with like fan casts. I've sent you. I've tagged you in a couple videos. If I fan cast somebody, it's just because that specific video was their vibe. Like the one video for like Nico, and it was like that, the way that he was putting on his suit, the little tattoos and everything. I was like, okay.
So
this is
why didn't I get this video? Why wasn't I sent this video?
Because you hadn't read the book yet. You can
still send me the video. We send each other so many thirst traps. You can still send me the video. Literally, Grace and I were so thirsty.
I'll find it and I'll send it back to you.
We'll find it and we'll send it.
We'll find it and send it to you. But yeah,
Calvin, keep her in check. Calvin texted me the other night and he's like, I listened to the podcast because we always call out Calvin every episode. We're like, Calvin, are you listening? Text us if you're listening. I got a text message yesterday from Calvin. So Calvin, keep her in check. Make sure she sends it.
Keep me in check, Calvin.
I saw him he showed up on my For You page, Calvin, and it was like he posted like a tweet, and he was like, the tweet was about him. And I don't remember the sound, but then I was just like, oh, say less. I love that. And then I went onto Twitter and then I saw the same person. I was like, so I guess my comment got to him. Like, to him, like they did.
Oh gosh.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah. That's like the best. That's the best. Yeah. He's awesome. I love him. He's so funny. He's so out there too.
Such a hype person. He hypes us up so often. Like, I think it was like when we first started like following each other and we were first becoming friends and stuff, he would comment on like every single video. It was like clockwork, same time of the day. If no matter how many videos I posted that day, it's like he went through my page. It was really scary. Calvin, you were kind of creepy for a hot second, but he would like and then comment just random things on my videos. He's such a hype man. Like, if you send him like, hey, hype this up, he literally hyped up one of my videos and he shared it like 50 something times, where it had like 200 views but like 73 shares, and I was like
he understood
the energy we need though.
He understood the assignment.
The sound. He understood the assignment.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah. So that kind of goes into like who are some book talker friends that you have made through the app, through your content, that you just like, besides me.
Well, of course. So when I first joined, like, someone who was always hyping up my content, her name's Sarah Loves Bromance.
Oh yeah.
I love Sarah. She's so sweet, and she just like, she just reads everything. I think she also designs book covers. So
yes, she does.
I love Sarah so much. And she was probably one of the first friends I made on Book Talk, along with, I don't know if you guys know who, Brittany Johnson.
Yes, I was just on live. She's actually lives in Kansas near me. I was literally on live and I was like, oh yeah, we're having Ofa on. And she's like, oh my God, I love Ofa. She's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I will make sure to mention you. Yes.
I
Britt
love
and
her.
Britt and I go back too.
Yeah.
We both love
She
Candy
actually
Box.
she texted me like right before and she was just like, bitch, why didn't you tell me that you were gonna be on a podcast? And then I was just like,
how did you know?
I was like, yeah, and I even asked her, I was like, how did you know? She's like, Maggie told me. And I was just like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, but I was getting ready on live and I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready for the podcast. And she's like, oh, no way. And I'm like, yes. So it was funny.
love
But I
Brit.
love Brit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Brit.
Shout out to Brit for real. And then like recently I've made just a group of friends. I don't know if you guys know Tanya from Baby Gal Reddit. And then Alexandra from Literary Alexandra. Yeah. Maya from Maya Reads Spice. And Melina from Melina's Library. Yes. And Logan from her handle's just Logan. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. But but like I talk to those girls like basically every day. So like those are like the friends that I've made through Book Talk, and it's actually been like really, it's been really great because at first I didn't think I always thought I was gonna be like that oddball out. I was like, oh man, like I don't know how to make friends in real life. How do I make friends on social media? So
yeah, I think that's one of like the neat things about Book Talk is that like we all kind of find our little niches and then we find our friends within that niche and then we all kind of just like and it's so funny how like we become friends on TikTok because you first start like talking through like comments and stuff and you're like, oh, like haha, and you'll like comment on their posts and then you'll comment again and they'll respond and then they'll like pin your comments and then you're like, oh, you start DMing each other and then you're like, hey, give me your phone number because I am about to go to every DM message that you send me. That's how I did it with Grace. That's how I became friends with Grace. It was funny.
She like bullied me for my number. I was like, okay.
I was just like, I'm too lazy. I am so lazy when it comes to like checking DMs and stuff. That like my Instagram DMs, I don't answer unless like I like talked about you in my Instagram story and then you replied. I don't answer Instagram DMs.
Oh my gosh.
I answer every DM.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at it.
Because I hate seeing the number at the top. That's why I just don't.
Well, I have like 130 unread messages on my phone.
Girl, how?
I
never.
I will see somebody like text me and I just don't respond. And then I'll like a couple days. Well, like
I can't.
Or it's like I get a lot of like SMS messages where it's just like where I'm like, okay, I don't really care about this, so I like forget about it and I'll get like text messages from like my inner circle and I'm like, oops, it's like 20 scrolls down. It's just like I don't want to scroll down all the way to undo these.
Seriously.
But yeah.
Oh, let me give one more. She's gonna kill me if I don't. Hannah from Hannah and Her Books. You guys know her? Yeah. She shares a lot of after and divergent content. She's like very much on the after and divergent.
Yes.
But she's also a friend that I've had. She'll kill me. But
they're all gonna be blowing up the group text. Like everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, she mentioned me," and she's like, "What about me?"
But what about me? Like that's always listen. I wouldn't know what to say. That's when I would leave my messages unread. I would turn it into Maggie at that point.
It's funny like it's funny because like I sometimes when I get annoyed of people, I'm a very like I need to like regenerate when it comes to like being social and stuff. So like after the podcast and stuff, I am very drained socially and I'm like, dude, like do not talk to me. Like I need to go watch a movie or something and just like recuperate and stuff. So over the weekend I like put a bunch of my friends on mute. And like my friend tried to text me today who lives on my floor and she's like, why didn't you answer your door? And I'm like, dude, I didn't know. And then I like look at my text messages and I'm like, he sent me like 5 text messages and it was on hidden. She was like, why? And I'm like, that's a good question.
I could never. I need to, as soon as I get it, I'll open it and I might forget to respond in that moment, but I'll respond in like an hour. but I have to. It's a thing. I can't. I don't know what it is. It's a thing that I have to be the last one to send something, so that way I know that the person has the opportunity to say something else if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be rude and like feel like I cut off the conversation. But I don't know. It's a bad thing. I do that with guys too that I don't really want to talk to. And they'll text me and then I'll just be like, yeah, okay. Or I'll just send something back just so that I was the last one. Like, I don't care about being left on red. I'm like, that's fine. Because I know that the conversation ended already. I was just waiting for you to do that too.
Yeah.
But I can't do unread. I have to open up every notification. I have to open up every email, every DM, every like or whatever. I have to open it up. It's that's the only thing I'm particular about. Everything else can be a mess, but my notification center is clear, okay?
It's funny that you say that because my notification center is not clear. We're all like, I'll have like throughout the whole day, I won't like clear it. So I'll have like all my notifications from throughout the day and I'll go in like every like 4 hours and clear it. But I remember I was like scrolling through my phone and somebody goes, how many fucking notifications do you have? And I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know. That's why like Instagram DMs, I'm so bad. Because it'd be like somebody wants to send you a message.
Girl, I have nothing.
Oh, you're frozen.
Nothing on mine.
Oh, there we go.
I have nothing on mine. Nothing on mine. This is clean.
Well, I have Ben Barnes. Well, no. I just got a notification for TikTok.
It's like,
yeah.
I
thought it would show you Ben Barnes. It didn't. Yeah, no, I have so many notifications. I have a lot of notifications for school stuff too. I get a lot of emails for school and like true. My like uploading for documents and stuff. So technically, I have an excuse. I'm a college student. I have an
college
excuse.
Student.
My excuse is college student. That's all. 2 words. College student.
Mm-hmm.
Excuses me from everything.
Exactly.
When it comes to being unorganized. But like I don't think people like I was talking with Calvin about this when Calvin was on, but like people don't realize like how much effort actually goes into like having a book talk account and like creating content and like not to shame my friends, but they're like, oh, you just have to read, and I'm like, I don't think you realize like how hard that sometimes gets, where it's like an author asks you to read a book and you're like, well, I want to continue reading from this author and I want to receive arcs, and then it's like, but then they like, I hate people who give me like a time frame for when I have to review a book for, because I'm like, I'm a very mood reader now, where like I will read, I'll have like a set TBR, but I'm like, okay, I'll read this book now and this book later and then this book now. So like I have like a Willow Winters book that I should be reading and I have not read it yet, and I've had it for like 2 weeks now, and I'm like, I'm gonna be removed from this ARC team, and I honestly probably shouldn't even deserve to be on that team, because and my NetGalley account too, it looks so bad right now. My ratio is so bad. It gets stressful. I don't think a lot of people realize, like, especially like it's not just like authors, but it's just like the stress of the community. I feel like I was gonna put a post about this where it's like I'm gonna have to step back a little bit from book talk, because like I'm in school and stuff, and it's like I can't keep up reading a book a day. Like I cannot physically keep up with that. Like I'm reading my textbook, which is like 40 pages in a chapter, and I'm reading like 4 textbooks a day. Like I can't, and it's just, I don't know. Some people need to realize that like it's getting hard out here for us, especially when we're back in campus. Like on campus is a lot different than when I could just push all my work and do it in like 2 hours.
Right.
And then sorry, I just needed to rant.
No, you're good. I didn't even realize how much work having a book talk meant. Like all the time spending like making content. Like it's not just reading books, because you're trying to figure out like how do you want to recommend it in a creative way, or if you see a trend that you really like, how can you recommend the book using that trend? So it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of work, but it's fun, but it's
and it's also like the work of like growing your platform as well, because like you want like growth in your platform, and it's like, and especially with TikTok, it's so volatile. Like there'll be weeks where you're doing really well, and like I'll have a week, I'll have like a day where I'll post like just a random TikTok video, and it will do so well, and then like I'll put effort into a video, and it flops, and I'm like, how are we supposed to keep up with this? And I was literally like, I wish we had a platform for just like a Goodreads plus TikTok plus Bookstagram kind of thing, which is basically Instagram now. But like, I just want a place where it's just for books, like just videos, like TikTok for book talk.
Yeah.
And like, I just want one where it's just one app where I can just go and I don't have to see all of these half naked men and women dancing around. I mean, some of them I really like to see, but
I mean, I'm not
some of the
complaining too
videos,
hard.
some of the thirst traps. I mean, Grace and I send thirst traps to each other so often, but
I love it.
it's just it gets so hard, and it's like, especially with the algorithm of TikTok constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up with.
And it's really hard because like sometimes like I swear I'm shadow banned probably right now I'm definitely shadow banned. I've been consistent. I posted like a video every other day and nothing gets past like maybe like 400 views. And I'm like, this is suspicious, but okay. And so then I've been saying this for a while now, but like what I'm doing now is like I'll post it on TikTok and then I'll post it on IG Reels. And then like IG Reels, it'll do better. Like it'll get like 1,000 views and then, you know, steady out. But then like videos from like 2 weeks ago on my IGs will like all of a sudden blow up. And I'm like, okay. That's why I don't know what it is, but Instagram Reels is like doing so much better than TikTok, because TikTok, like you're shadow banned every other week. You're super censored. Like
Oh my
you gotta be
God.
super careful what you post.
Yeah.
I've been banned like 3 times, and it sucks because like and there's so many sounds on TikTok that you want to use, but then you can't. I hate it, but then I love
Especially
it.
with the censorship of like the romance community specifically when it comes to like women talking about romance, because you'll see guys talking about romance and they don't really get, like, yeah, there's like Roddy Reeds, he does a lot of romance. I love him, I want to have him on the podcast. He's one of like my have to haves. But like,
Okay.
I have it in my Excel spreadsheet, but I just, it's this like censorship. Like even Eamon, like she got an email. I'm kind of shouting out Eamon, but she posted it on our Snapchat, and it was like TikTok reached out to her for like a partnership or something. She's like, I was just unbanned from TikTok. Like, does TikTok really not understand like who? I don't think they really know who they're banning and who they're not banning. I don't think they really have control over that because it's so automated now, to the point where it's like, even for like appealing like bans and appealing like video takedowns, it's like you can't even like put evidence in there to support anything, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's to the point where I honestly sometimes thought about like, what if I just left book talk and left TikTok, because it's like I can't create the content that I'm wanting to create because I have to be so censored, and I have to watch what I even comment now on videos, and it's like, any little thing you can get taken down for. And it's like, you have these guys who are like, I don't care that they're half naked and dancing around, but it's just very hypocritical for like men to be dancing very suggestively, I will say. Like the one TikTok where he's like in the green shorts and it's just flinging around. Like, you knew exactly what I was talking about.
I swear, I felt like it poked my eye. I really do feel like
No,
that.
for real.
Like, I could feel the wind coming off of it. Like, I could feel it.
It just was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like, he knew what he was doing, and you know what that is. It's very suggestive, but it doesn't get taken down. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But if a woman did that, you know, it would get taken down. She would get banned, like deplatformed all the way. And it's just like, the hypocrisy and misogyny of TikTok really am not vibing with at the moment.
Yeah.
It's hard. And then to grow, it's like once you get to a certain point, you won't grow past that unless like you're like, you know, something happens and your content is like pushed, but then you'll pretty much stay there for a while. And then something has to come along where then you know, boost up again. And it's kind of like, damn, that sucks. Like I'm pretty small-ish on TikTok. Like I have like 7K, and most of my friends are like 10K plus, you know? And it's kind of like, you know, we all create content. And I'm not saying like, you know, my content's better than anybody else, but it's also kind of like, man, I don't know. I thought it was funny and other people think it's funny, but then it doesn't go anywhere. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of suspicious, but it is what it is. And, you know, it's hard. I don't know if I'll leave TikTok because it's been a year on there. I don't know what would life be without TikTok right now?
I know.
Right.
But like, especially because like TikTok is like where a lot of like our main platform comes from, is like people, we interview book talkers, we interview like people from TikTok, and we meet these people from TikTok. And so it's like, can like, as us for our podcast and stuff, can we really like not like distance ourselves from TikTok when book talk is like our main thing? It's like we are a very bookish podcast, but we are mostly talk to book talkers and like book talk authors and stuff. So it's like there's such like it's like a scale, but it's like always evened out, because it's like, yes, there's so negative, but there's so many positives to book talk, because you do have that ability to grow on TikTok really fast versus like Instagram and stuff takes a long time too. Because like Kate's books has like over 300K now, or no, 200K now, and like on Instagram she just has like 50K I think now. And it's like and she's had her Instagram for years and years, and then her book talk she's had for almost 2 years now. And it's like, the volatility of TikTok is so hard to deal with sometimes, or you just feel so let down too.
Instagram is nicer. It's nicer.
Yeah, definitely.
That's true.
The inconsistency, like you 10K, like you'll have like 10K, like, and it's so crazy that it does that.
I think your sound kind of like cutting in and out.
Sorry. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I think you were talking about how like you'll get like 10K. Oh, I can't hear myself. On a video, but then like I've noticed that too, where I'll get like I've had a video like skyrocket, like a video of me like moving my books to my apartment is at like 200K views right now, and it's like doing so well. And then like you get like next couple posts, it'll be like 10K, 20K, 13K, like, and then it just drops to like 400 views, 300 views, and then it slowly gets back up, and then it drops, and you're like, how, like, it deters people from making content, because it's like, I'm censored because I can't make the content I want, and then the content that I do make, because I'm so censored, that fits in that realm doesn't do well, and I can't grow.
Doesn't do well.
Yeah.
It's just
it's hard. And you just recently joined Bookstagram-ish.
Yeah, I joined Bookstagram like at the beginning of the year. So I made the account when I made my TikTok, because I was just like, just in case I wanted to go over to Bookstagram. That way I can have the same handle. I mean, like, who's gonna have the same handle? But like, you know, just in case. But yeah, and then I was able to do, like, I love Instagram because I'm able to be more like, not free, but like you can just do different things on it. It's like the stories. Like I love being able to do stories.
I love Instagram stories. Instagram stories is like the highlight of Instagram. Like the best thing they stole was Instagram stories, I think. Because I like it more than Snapchat. I use it more than Snapchat.
Yeah.
I love Instagram stories. My Instagram stories will get super long, especially if I'm reading like a series. I'm posting like I used Snapchat for a while, but then like, you know, the older you get, you kind of just Snapchat just like leaves the mind. And Instagram, I started using my Instagram stories more actually because of you, Ofa. I started using my Instagram more because I wanted you to see my reactions for the Maid series. So I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Why not just post them here? So then I did, and it just kind of snowballed, and that's what I do. And like, I swear, I get more views on my Bookstagram story. Like, I get more views there than I do on like my personal Instagram stories than like anywhere else. And it's just like, and I swear, like, I know I said this before, like we started the podcast, but I swear sometimes I feel like, damn, I talk way too much. And I swear people do not listen to my story, do not care a thing about what I'm saying. And but you know what, it's fine. Do people care? I don't think so.
I care. I just not reading the book you're reading, and I don't want to get spoiled, okay? It's not that I don't care. It's just that like you talk about the book and then there's like 20 Instagram stories about the same book, and I'm like, well, now I just gotta tap through, and then I'll see if you have like a poll or something. I'll just randomly select an answer.
That happens with your. And I was just like, dang it.
Yeah, that'll be me too. I'm not lying because I am a tapper sometimes, depending. But yeah, that's always my main worry with like Instagram. Like, I'm just like, damn, this is too long. Let me delete some in here. But then I'll get messages from people being like, oh, I love your reactions and things like that. I'm like, oh, you guys listen to me. I'm telling you, now that I'm starting to take my Instagram more seriously, I feel like I'll be fine if TikTok doesn't do well, because we don't care about that. But Instagram is stepping up their game, and they're hearing everybody talk so much shit about TikTok, and they're just like, come over here, we'll take you, we'll take the content. Yeah, we love you guys. And I'm just like, this is what the energy I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Speaking of energy we love, I'm trying to get back to like actual books. Is there like a specific, I want to say like a specific recipe for a book that you will absolutely ride or die for? Like, what does a book have to have in order for you to absolutely love it?
Ooh, I'd say I have to have the jealous, possessive, and then protective, and I want it over the top. You know what I mean? Like, you doing a little extra, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really love that. When a book has that, I'm like, oh, say less. And I'm a very plot-driven reader, but sometimes I'm character-driven as well. I'm a little mix of both, right? But and then I just like the heroine to have like, we love a heroine that has a backbone, that talks back, that's like sassy. I love banter. If it has banter, I need it. A little bit of funny stuff in there. I love spice, but I'm not very particular about like the kind of spice, If it has spice, cool. It's just when it's advertised as a spicy book and it's not, that's when it.
That happens a lot for like contemporary romances. Yeah. Where there's a difference between like it's like a spicy book disguised as like a temporary romance, which is like, I'm pretty sure the Spanish Love's Deception is like more of a contemporary romance, right? Or is it spicy? I don't know. Neither of y'all read it? Because I heard it's like really spicy. I don't know, but like there's like
like a couple scenes, and there's tension building towards that scene. I think that's what it is.
These are like disguised as like contemporary, like romance. Like you look at it in a bookstore, you're like, okay. But when I tell you, it's every chapter. When I tell you, you don't read these for the plot. You read these for the chapter. Exactly. Every chapter. Christina Lauren nailed it down with the series. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because there's a difference between like steamy and spicy. And like, because in order for like spice to be really good and for me to be like, oh yeah, this book made me like sweat and everything, it's because like you get the build up to it. If it's just like, as soon as the book opens, boom, we're here, we're in it, we're doing it up against walls and everywhere, I'm kind of like, it's enjoyable. Like, yeah, I'll read it and I'll be like, okay, but I won't feel anything, you know? I need to feel the conversation. I need to feel the character development for each other. I need to see the growth from where they started to finally getting there. It's the journey that makes me like, yes, you know? That's what makes like the spicy scene like so much better to me.
Yes.
Whereas like, but I know not every book's like that. So there's like the spicy books that are just like pure, you know, that's what it is. But then there's the books that have a bit of storyline and then have the development. Like, yeah, it's a romance book, but with romance, there's wooing, there's like, you know, stumbling blocks, there's banter, there's will they, won't they, all of that. I need that in order for me to feel like this was worth it, you know? But like what you said too, like plot, I'm a big plot person. I like world, I like community, I like seeing what else is around. And we love the alpha holes. We do. It's
okay, so many people hate like the typical alpha male bullshit, but I tell you, when there is like when it's a good character development, when like he's possessive and he is aggressive, and but it's not like it's not like the aggressive in the sense that like, oh, like overbearing aggressive. It's like, I acknowledge that you are your own person, but I know what you want, and like I know it and you know it, you're just not acknowledging it, so I'm gonna tell you and you're gonna sit there and behave and listen to me, and you're like, yes, I will.
That really reminds me of Grace's video where she's like, if you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do.
Yeah.
But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't like, tell me what to do.
It's because there are men written by women. They are men written by women. Like,
exactly. Because like, let me tell you this. This is like a real life story. Because I always bring them up anyways. My ex-boyfriend was a bigger dude. He was like a 6'4" Nigerian guy, pretty big, definitely my body type. And we had this whole long relationship. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know a bunch of stuff, some certain things. And there was this one instant early on in the relationship, like we were not dating, we were talking, and then like an ex-boyfriend of mine from high school, like we were cool, like we barely, like it wasn't like we're buddies, we're friends or anything, but it was just like, hey, what's up kind of conversations. He was going through something that I went through specifically, and he helped me out with it. And he just wanted somebody to talk with who also went through that. And I was just like, oh, like we'll meet up, we'll have coffee, I'll sit and talk with you. I was just like, okay, it's my friend, my new guy, he's my friend too. He's not really my person yet, but I want to be upfront with him. So I told him, hey, I'm going to go have coffee with my ex. And then he's just like, well, go then. And I was just like, that wasn't really the vibe I was going for. I was hoping you'd give me a little something more, but he's just like, oh yeah, and he turned into that whiny jealousy. And I'm like, that's not the vibe. That's not what we're going for. Okay. You either set your foot down or stay quiet. Like
the trope
we don't need
of
that.
like the alpha male getting jealous when the girl or like when the MC goes on like a date or hangs out with another guy, and the
I
alpha
love
male like
that.
he realizes that, oh, I want her, I want to be her person, I am gonna establish that I am
Yeah,
that person for her, and you're just like, oh, like you
that's
get the
what we want.
chills. And you're like,
Yes.
yes, please, daddy. Yes.
That's what we want.
Yes, daddy.
That's
You
what
know
we
the
want.
sound?
We don't.
The
Yeah,
TikTok
daddy.
sound? Daddy?
No.
Daddy? Yeah.
Daddy?
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 Yeah.
Daddy?
No.
No. Daddy? No. Mommy? No. Mommy?
I love that sound so much.
It's
It's
iconic.
all over my For You page. I love it. It's so cute. That's what we want. We want it's something about like these men need to understand certain boundaries and then understanding what we ourselves won't want to admit. I mean, because women, we have the intuition, we know what guys will be looking forward, like what they're going towards, but it's kind of like, baby, I need you to catch up. I'm already at the finish line. I need you to catch up too. Your mental maturity needs to catch up there. Like, I know what you're going towards, but you yourself don't even know. It's kind of that thing. And I guess a lot of the reasons why a lot of women like these type of books where they give up control and the guy takes control and he has like, he's the alpha male. It's because in real life, we're the ones that have to do everything. We're the ones that have to be on top of everybody. We're the ones that have to make sure that everybody's good, that make sure everybody's eating, for the moms out there, making sure that their whole household is situated. As women, we're making sure that we're doing everything we can in our workplace, that we're like, doing everything possible. We want to be able to come home to somebody who is like, don't worry, baby, I got you. What do you need? Let me take care of you. Like, that's what we want. We want somebody to do that. And where else can we get it other than a book? Because trying to find a man like that in person is not easy. I've been looking, it's hard.
This is why I liked the Bromance book club, is like that's the whole series, is that it's men reading romance books to better understand relationships with women. Because if you think about it, like in like, yes, in like Mafia, and there's like these darker romance, but it's like the themes of the book are like, that's how you understand women, and like how the reactions to the relationships and stuff, and it's like the scenarios that go on in their heads, and you're like, this is exactly how women think, like this is exactly what a woman wants. So it's like the perfect idea that a man reads a romance book to understand what a woman wants and how to give a woman that romance and how to develop a relationship and have a better relationship with women,
and how to communicate.
Yes.
That is, I'm telling you, there is a chain missing in that link right there. The communication of men nowadays is like, it's lacking that emotional vulnerability that's not there. And that's a whole nother issue, right?
Right.
But it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to look for people who have that balance, who have that emotional vulnerability, but then also have that confidence and self-assuredness. And books give us that escape that we might never find in person, and that's why, like, I received a comment on like one of my videos on like, it was like, when people come at me for loving my Mafia men, and it was just like the Jay-Z song, like, OJ said, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay, right? I had somebody comment and was just like, you're very weak. And I was just like, okay.
I've gotten comments.
Literally let the song play back for you, because that's that. Like, I don't care.
I've gotten so many comments on my one video about 365 days, the book, and it was like, stop romanticizing mafias and gangs. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, you think I'm condoning this? Like, you think because I read it,
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it? Like, no, this is fiction. This is I want to experience it, but I want to experience it from the bad guy's perspective. Let's all be honest. That's why we read mafia romances, because we want to be that bad we want to be that badass who I'm gonna say it, kills and murders people. We all like want to have that guy who like is willing to burn the world down for us.
Exactly.
And we want the man who will burn down the gas station because the clerk groped me. That's what we want.
That's what we want.
That's also the only thing I know from book 2.
Book 1.
Oh,
babe.
it's book 1? Oh.
Book 1. Book 1.
Book 1.
Book 1.
Oh.
Book 1. Yeah. Oh. I love that you have that tattoo.
I got his nickname tatted on my arm. I was like, I got to. And that's dedication, low key.
That's dedication.
I never told my boyfriend what it meant, and my boyfriend he has no idea, but
hey, so, it can be many things.
On the topic of bookish tattoos, I'm gonna get one tattoo on my ankle that's like a bunch of like quotes, but I'm gonna get a couple bookish tattoos. But I was like, what if Grace and I got matching bookish tattoos? But then I was like, Grace would never. But like,
I'm too scared to get one.
Dude, I have one. They're so nice. I have a lip tattoo. It's easy.
It's because look, I would definitely get a book tattoo, especially because like I would totally design the hell out of it. But the problem is that I'm very iffy on things. Like I may have like fell like with the stickers. I fell in love with them as I was doing them, right? And as soon as they were finished, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. It gets sent out, manufactured, sent back to me, and I'm just like, I don't like it anymore.
Or I could tell when she hated that I was being nitpicky. When I was nitpicking the stickers, and I was like, okay, this needs to be changed. And she's like, you could tell she's getting like a little frustrated. I'm like, dude, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. It's checks and balances. I'm checking to make sure it's perfect. Because like the Palm Springs one, the Palm Springs was in blue, and I was like, there's too much blue.
Yeah, it needed that. Yeah. I agreed, but like that's how I am. I'm very like.
I have to convince.
I'm very like that, and so if I were to get a tattoo, it'd be like I'd love one. Like, this guy I'm friends with. He started talking about like that he got 2 tattoos. Yes, you don't know, Maggie. I haven't updated you on this in a while, but this friend was talking about tattoos, and I hadn't seen him in a while. And he was talking about like, oh, he got this new tattoo and this new tattoo, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I told him the same thing. I would want a tattoo, but I wouldn't like it after a while. And he's just like, well, that's fine. That's why you have so much more space. You could get another one. And I'm like, yes, but no. It's a thing. So let me find something that I will love for years, and then I'll get it.
That's what I've been doing. Is I've been thinking about what tattoos I've been wanting to get for like a long time, since like high school, and then I was like, okay, I've had the same like 3 in my mind for like the last like 4 years. I'm like, great, I know exactly what I'm gonna be getting.
Yeah.
So
maybe I'll get like the 3 of spades. That's what I'll do for my man Christian. That's what I'll do.
You should do the constellation that he liked.
You know what?
Because that's like I wanted to get all 3 of them, but I can't justify it just yet. So, but you should do that.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Let me justify it, and then I'll get it. Okay.
Constellations will look so pretty.
Your justification, Grace, is that I'm coming to LA, and we're gonna have to get tattooed together, and that's your justification.
If I'm still in love with the tattoo by then yes.
Okay.
Dang it, I shouldn't have said that, but okay.
Amen and Melissa will keep you in check.
I know. Oprah, do you have any other tattoos besides Ace?
Like just tattoos in general or bookish? Both.
Either.
So all of them are just on this hand. So this one, I have 2 older sisters. So this is my sister tattoo. So there's 3 of us. I'm the youngest. And then the Ace of Spades. And then I have, you can't see it, but right here, it's X equals X. So like, hold on. I guess it's like that way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys read A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, but there's a part in the book that's called the axiom of equality, and that part of the book like really, like it really spoke out to me. Legit, I finished the book that weekend I went and got this tattoo.
Isn't that book like the black and white cover where he's having an orgasm on the front? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what it is?
Yeah, he's having an orgasm. He's not crying.
Yeah, it's called The Orgasmic Man. That's the title of the picture.
Yeah, I found that out by my boss. It's a dark, heavy book.
It is, yeah. Very dark.
And I don't think I'm ready for that. Not yet. I'm too soft.
I'm too mentally unstable.
Maggie, you guys know I cry very easily.
Grace, you cry. I'm mentally ill. I cannot read that book.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm too sensitive for that. If Pauline and mostly everybody that I know was like sobbing during this book, I cannot. I will not. I'm sorry. I love that for you guys, that you guys love that. Love that for you. Not for me.
But not for, no, yeah, I totally get you. It's really, it's definitely not for everyone, so.
Yeah. So what on the definitely not for everybody, what's a book or an author that you would shove down everyone's throat because like it's the most amazing thing that you've ever read, or author that you've ever liked?
Oh man, the like one of those books series that's not for everyone, but the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco. I love that series so much. Like I hated it at first because the hero is very like, he's an anti-hero.
Is that with what's his name? The one that you
Kova?
Yes.
Yeah, it's with him. So like that's one. And I feel like I do kind of shove that down everyone's throat because he's like in all of my content lately. And I read that series in May. So
he just keeps popping up. That's a sign.
That's
a sign for everyone to read it. Because I swear, like I hear you talk about Kova so much and how you hated him and then like you love him and you just can't stop thinking about him. I'm just like, man, I need to meet this man.
Yeah.
Because like the closest thing that I have gotten to that is like Ronan, because like I was like, I hated him so bad. And then I was like, damn.
It's like, damn. Who got you smiling like that?
Yeah, that's literally it. Yeah. It's definitely one of those things. But I feel like those are the books that like really stick with you. It's just like so much happened in the book or in the series that like completely changed your mind. Like it's different if you fell in love with somebody from the get-go and then you love them in the end still. But from going like from hate to love, that book means so much to you because like you were so against it at the beginning and it did everything possible and it changed your mind. You recognize
their character arc. You recognize the character arc.
It hits different.
And that's a successful writer. That's a successful writer. If a writer can make you hate a character but then end up loving them.
Yes.
They're good at it.
And that was it. And there are many parts in the book where you don't think he's gonna be redeemed, like at all. Like there's no way. There's no way he's gonna be redeemed. And then I was so like, excited. Oh.
This is what everybody was talking about. It's definitely those things. And like once you end up finding like a series that you like absolutely will continuously go back to, it goes back to that thing. Do I want everyone to read this? This is special for me.
Literally there are like 3 series that I do not want to talk about on my page because I'm like, I know there are people who love these too, but I do not want to talk about them because I do not want to create the hype around them. I want them to stay in my little corner.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
They're your little secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question before we finish it up. If you could have dinner or like a full day with one character from any book, any series, who would it be and what would you do?
Oh, dang. You know, that's like the worst question you could answer. You could ask a reader.
A worse question you could ask a romance reader, especially because it's like, well, fuck, I've had relationships with all these guys and women before.
I know what all of them can do.
I know.
I know
it's the
all the
hard
ways
one.
they can please me. Well, I love how you do that because I do that too. I do that so often. Okay.
I started doing that because of you, and I do it all the time now.
I'll do it for anything.
We'll do top 3. That's a little bit easier.
She's still like, fuck, I can't.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So, who I would go to dinner with, and
or spend the day with,
like on a date.
Oh, go on a date with. Okay, bet. Say less. Okay. I think first and foremost, it would be Nico Russo, obviously, for obvious reasons. And like, I legit would want a day of like seeing him do that capo shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could just watch that all day, and then, you know, whatever he does with Elena in the...
Oh yeah.
Is that off limits? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
That's on the table.
I mean,
yeah.
Literally.
What? Don't tell me anymore. I can't. Like, if I know of any scenes, I won't read the book.
Okay,
that's all you get. That's all you get.
That's
all you get.
You know what? No, that's too many options. I'll stick with that. Are we doing top 3?
Top 3.
Top 3. Do top 3.
Girl,
do top 3.
How long is it gonna take you?
Okay, say less. So no, okay, got you. Bet. Do you guys know who James is from Hush Hush by Lucia Franco?
I've heard of him.
Listen, I'm channeling my inner Maggie. And just know that man, you can get it. Listen,
okay.
What we would do, because he's a billionaire, and he goes, like, he'll fly, I forgot what the main girl's name is. I always picture myself, right? But listen. But he always flies her, like, when she's having a stressful week, he'll fly her and him to have like a vacation somewhere. So like that's what I would do, you know? I would and then, you know, just join the Mile High Club. You know what I'm saying? So I would add him onto the list. Y'all get me. And then my last one would probably be, y'all got me. Okay, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be Kova. That man deserved it. He worked for my love. And I would just like spend a day with him and make him speak Russian to me. Dead ass.
Oh yeah. Definitely. For sure.
I'm gonna ask who Kova is, but don't say anything. Don't I don't even want to know who he is because I want to be surprised. So.
When you get there, and we'll realize it.
Yes.
Maggie, who would be your 3?
Do you think I know? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You had time.
Oh, I didn't realize you were gonna ask me too. I thought you were just
looks
asking
at
me. Okay, so my first one is Josh from Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. I just finished this. I read it like within like a night. Amazing, beautiful. My next one would be no, it's this one. No. I can't decide. It'd be Will. It'd be Will from Beautiful Player by Christina Lauren. I really like Christina Lauren men.
Is the heroine Hannah in that book?
Yes.
I like that one.
Yes. This one's really good, really cute. They like go on runs together. I hate running, but it's cute. My next one would be Grace, you put me on the spot and I really don't like this. Need I say more?
Michael is fourth. You only get 3.
No, I have to do 5 because there's 2 more that I can't think. I have to think of. So,
okay, fine.
Darius from Zodiac Academy. I love Darius.
Okay.
And then I'll just stick with 4. Well, no, yeah. I'll stick with 4.
Okay.
Grace.
I loved seeing the process.
It was so hard.
Well,
wait, my 5th one is Mac.
I guess.
My 5th one is Mac from the 3rd book in the Bromance book club. There you
go.
Oh. Okay. So for me, oh gosh.
Sorry, there's so many. I'm done. Can I list 5 honorary members?
That's just one day. It's one day. You can have this 365 days. You can rotate them in, okay? We got rosters.
What if I want them all at once?
We got rosters.
Okay, Grace.
Oh, you want your own little harem.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So for me, it's Christian Alistair from The Maddest Obsession by Danielle Laurie. He's my top. He has dethroned Castile Denier as my number 1. He has. Second is Raylan Boone from Broken Vow by Sophie Lark. That man could tie me up over a saddle any day. My third is Tristan Miles from the Miles High Club. It is The Takeover. That is book 2 in the Miles High Club. Would I want a man to rent out like a whole like Paris hotel room and like just for me to spend the weekend with him, and if I have kids that aren't his, fall in love with and become the dad? Yes, that's what I want. We're gonna stick with 3. I'm gonna stay within the rules. 3. Those are my 3.
Ma'am, I have read a lot of books in the last month. I read a reverse harem, and so there's like 10, 15 guys I have to choose from, and I can't do that because they're all
if I'm adding those last 2, it's definitely Michael.
Wait, why didn't you add more?
That man.
Oh wait,
if I'm adding, you added more. If I'm adding, it's Michael. And when you read that book, hopefully you'll find out I love the communication that he has. And
communication. I'm gonna make a video of doing that, like all the tropes communication.
I don't know who would be the
when
last
he falls
one.
in love
it's
first.
Too hard. No, that one. Those are my things. When he falls, I love it when the guy falls in love. I love dual POV. That's my thing right there.
Yes,
but yeah,
I love dual POV. That's like my top thing. When you were talking about like a mix of a romance book, like to make it good, dual POV is a must-have for me now. Where it's like or like multiple POVs where it's like, I'm not gonna say, Zodiac Academy, there's like multiple POVs because it's following two sisters, so you get the sisters and then their love interests POVs as well. So it's top tier.
I've heard good things about that.
It's
me too. I have.
It's very
it's
slow
a lot of
burn.
books though.
I'm on the 5th book and I refuse to read the 6th book until the 7th book comes out in December. But like it's long. Like the first book, like no spice basically in the first book. It takes a while to get to the spice. It's a very slow burn. It's a bully romance. So it's heavy, like there's bullying and stuff happens to the girls. They basically are tortured. It's how it is. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. If a man did that to me, I would
gonna be my thing.
Never talk to him. But yes.
Right.
Well, thank
you. Our bar is low. Our bar is low.
Yeah.
In like it's below sea level in like a book, but then it's super high. And in real life, if a man ever tried to do that, could never. There's a difference, babe. Could never. But yeah. Okay, go ahead, Maggie.
I was just gonna wrap it up and say thank you, Ofa, for coming on to the podcast. We had so much fun talking. We actually went overtime. I
we
put
did
in an hour and a half, and it's like an hour and it's almost 2 hours, but it's like hour and 45 minutes. We're good. But thank you for coming on, and thank you for everybody who's listening. Thank you if you go check out our shop and buy our stickers. I'm oddly quiet right now because my roommate is probably sleeping at the moment. It is 9 p.m. Grace, do you have anything closing remarks?
Stay tuned for announcements for October. We are doing a very special event.
The whole month of October. Our guest lineup for October is the first guest. I'm gonna have to re-email them because they haven't answered yet, and I really hope they answer my email because I really want to have this first guest on because I am so excited for this first guest. When I tell you, I DM'd this guest, and when they responded yes, I cried and I called Grace immediately on FaceTime and had her step out of the restaurant. I'm crying now. Like, I can't wait.
It's special. It's a whole thing for October. It's something I'm very excited for, and it's going to be really awesome. Thank you, Ofa, for coming on. It was so nice seeing you face to face.
Yes.
Yeah. You know? No, thank you guys for having me.
Yes. Well, we will see you in the next week. I did not remember who next week's guest was, so find out later this week on our Instagram.
I want to say it's Rose.
I think it's Rose. Yeah, Rosemary.
It is Rose.
But yeah, so
our bestie Rose.
Yes, our bestie Rose. Well, we'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, guys. Night.